In summer 2018, so last year, we had a real issue in the neighbourhood on Bullingdon Road and in the neighbouring streets with on-street daytime drug dealing and drug usage. We had congregating users at the intersections of the street along the Bullingdon Road who were waiting for deals. The deals were taking place particularly in the afternoon when children were returning home from school. There was a huge feeling of unease and vulnerability for the community. I myself had recently had a baby, and so I was walking with a 3-month-old baby and a 5-year-old child along the street. There were police chases taking place at that time. There were obvious signs of both dealing and usage, and so there was a sense of vulnerability for me, but also for the small children that are living in and around our neighbourhood, and so I think that has really spurred many of us into action. What we also recognise is it's a highly transient population in large segments of our community, and so as a group we've tried to engage with the student population who also are feeling uneasy with the rising crime, or the perception of that since from the summer and that continues to be there. And so what we've done is also set up a Facebook group so that you're able to, as a transient resident, somehow engage with the community and feel a part of that. And through that, I think there has been a sense of greater community cohesion. Certainly people are saying hello and greeting each other much more on the street than they were before, because people know who each other is now. And I think that has been a real step change that we've managed to achieve, and that has decreased that sense of vulnerability that at the height of this quite acute problem last summer we were feeling. The councillors were encouraging us to be setting up a neighbourhood watch group, and so whilst initially I personally was not convinced that this would be the answer, and I've since been proved wrong of the value of this, I then set up the Neighbourhood Watch group, so contacted the website for the Neighbourhood Watch. As a result, Michelle Beenan was in touch, shared information about how to recruit members and leaflet the street. And so a group was then formed. Also, the council supported us in convening an early group in the Ruskin School of Art building of the community to encourage members of the local community to join. In turn, we had a first meeting in September, and the group then identified various priorities which went over and above the drug dealing and usage to various other antisocial behaviour issues. But in response to really the very acute problem that we were facing at the time with the drug dealing and also used syringes in the various sites along the street, we then wrote to Annalise Dodds MP, the East Oxford MP, who came and met with us in November, where we were able to, as a group, share firsthand some of the experiences we had with the scale of the drug dealing and usage in our community. After that, we then had the Drugs Taskforce contact us to have a meeting to discuss actions that could be taken to address our concerns as a community. And so we were really grateful for the contact by Ollie Bayliss, for example, who the community safety liaison, who came and did a walkthrough of our street to look at issues in the environment that were perhaps contributing to making it a place where drug dealing was flourishing. And so we worked with him. We also worked with Inspector Simpson and others with Thames Valley Police to encourage reporting amongst our community. And as a result of a collaboration also with the Divinity Road Residents Association, DRARA, have produced a leaflet and an initiative called East Oxford Report It, from our community for our community. And for that, what we have been doing is supporting members of our community and of our Neighbourhood Watch group to know where to turn to report various issues related to drug dealing, taking and antisocial behaviour. And that has, I think, encouraged the community to then be reporting more of what the issues are and sharing information with with those that need it to inform sort of effective policy responses as well to the challenge. As a result, we've seen a decrease in the number of syringes, the number of congregating users and also dealers on our street. And so whilst we do recognise that there have been some environmental conditions that have meant with the winter that meant that this is less likely to anyway be taking place, we do feel there has been a real improvement over the last few months. At the same time, the Taskforce has worked with owners of a local car park on our street to also close that off and install CCTV so that can act as a deterrent for both the dealers and users in the local streets. We're hoping going forward that as the weather improves that we aren't faced with the scale of the challenge we had last year, but certainly there have been some improvements to the area, and we've really welcomed the collaborative approach that the Taskforce have taken in dealing with us as a community for any antisocial behaviour and drug related issues that you're seeing. So do report to this website, the East Oxford reportit.org.uk, and that will signpost you to the most effective mechanisms, and there are often multiple mechanisms to report certain issues as well. So through more effective reporting, then resources are able to be allocated to the places that need the resources the most, and hopefully that can reduce the issue and not just move it into another area.